I'm going to start y'all with a story. So when I was young, I would go to, where was it, Lebo, Kansas with my father. We'd go to Sonic, get some chicken strips, some Sprite. We'd go to a farm and just watch cows. I used to really love cows. And according to my mother, my first word was moo. I don't recall that being my first word, but we're going to go for it. And he was a silly little goose. He decided to touch an electric fence. He didn't win. Anyway, that introduced me to the world of fast food and its effects. I'd say I've only worked in fast food for about 3 years now. I've attained a management position, and I think I have a really good view on its effects. Fast food is applicable to anyone. The effects are. I'm pretty sure everyone's at least eating a burger or something, right? Yeah, unless you're like really attentive. I'm not. See, he's eating a corn dog right now. It affects everyone. It's literally everywhere. You probably walk out this door, walk down the street, and there's a Wendy's. Wonderful. And there's some topics about that later. Anyway, the 3 effects I'm going to talk about are American culture that was affected by fast food, the economics, and the health. That's going to be a fun one. So American culture has been affected in many big ways, mainly in the 1940s. Fast food really started out in Southern California. If I remember right, it was in the book Fast Food Nation by the author Schulcher. I can't pronounce it right. But that's where the fast food concept started to come into play. And mainly that was due to the use of the cars. That came through the drive-thru and whatnot. In the periodical America's Worst and Best Fast Food, it states that a lot of people prefer to eat out in a drive-thru than on the dinner table. And a lot of people are saving their money to eat out. There's a few families I know that I don't even think they use their dinner table. Now, personally, I don't go to my dinner table to eat. I go sit down on the couch. Anyway, this American culture has been affected so long that there's thousands of, I want to say hundreds of thousands of fast food restaurants. Even McDonald's, it's a very big one, especially because it started out as the first one. There's about, it's in the 10,000s probably right now. But anyway, it's affected us so much that we're just used to going out and eating there, which I think is a little bit of an issue. Next, we have the economics behind it. Holy moly, they make bank. If anything, it's a titan of this age, especially at McDonald's as well. But there's thousands of growing ones. The one I work is at Freddy's, and they're growing. They have about 300 or so stores. That started out in 2002. Yes, 2002. And they're making pretty bank. But those stores, they cost a lot of money to put in. But it's a really good turnaround on the money. And I think there's a lot of conflicting statements when I researched, but I believe it was America's Best Fast Food America's Worst and Best Fast Food that stated it's about $600 billion revenue. I think it's a little bit more than that because some people really spend a lot on fast food. And it provides a lot of jobs. Schulcher also states that in his book. It comes from a farm, meat packing plant, all the way to the actual fast food place. There's a big pay difference between all those. Now you also have manufacturers that deliver said food, and it's not even just food, it's just actual materials and or soda syrup. So is a really, like a 5-gallon bag of syrup costs about $70. I think it's a pretty nice deal. But the amount of people that drink, if you get like a 44 ounce, that's not good, but you do you, boo. Anyway, there's so many jobs over that it does provide a lot for America, but it takes a lot as well. And they usually, actual fast food restaurants, they take advantage of high schoolers. You get paid minimum, and you work 40 hours a week. You're kind of like a sucker to it, and you really don't know anything else until you're out in the real world. And in that case, you're you might as well just quit fast food, unless you're higher up position. Next is the health. in America, that's a big issue, and I blame it on. So I don't even blame it on fast food. The researchers that I looked off of blame it on fast food. Sculpture in the America's Worst and Best Fast Food state that. I think it was a Hardee's burger. About one of them was like 1,500 calories. That's like half, a little bit over half you should have in a day. So I think it's like 2,300 around there. I don't really pay attention to that. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to that. But when they go to fast food places, they want to supersize their meal. I hear that a lot, and I kind of squirm aside. I'm like, okay, you don't want to do that, but be my guest. Use your money. In a lot of places, it's fairly cheap. So like you go to McDonald's, it sports out on like the dollar menu, and you think it's a great price, but when you do it every day of the week, it adds up to quite a lot of money. And you go to Walmart, that's a different issue. Walmart, another time. Anyway, you can buy just sandwich stuff there and be good for a week. That's what I do sometimes. I personally try to lay off the fast food because I'm there half my week, and I've quit soda. It was very hard, but it's very addictive. Fast food is, even for your health. Obesity, it affects everyone. And then another thing is E. coli and dirty restaurants. That'll get you sick. Just watch out for dirty restaurants. Here, McDonald's is one of the dirtiest ones. I've firsthand seen that. But in conclusion, I've talked about the three effects: American culture, economics, and the health behind it. I personally don't care what you guys do with fast food. It's your money. But I say be careful. And this is a good tool to see. Every time I go into a restaurant, I just it's entertaining to watch what they do and what they eat. But I find this personally a great topic to talk about, and you guys should use this as well. Thank you.